Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
We begin tonight in Elmira, where the City Council has voted to adopt a new police reform plan. This comes on the heels of Governor Cuomo signing some police reform laws last year. Matt Kleindinst spoke with the mayor of Elmira and shares details on the plan.
Good evening, Scott. Mayor Daniel Mendel says the police reform plan has two goals in mind. First, have his officers perform better, and second, to form good relationships with the community.
And I think adding this component of community outreach is just going to help them help the community much more efficiently.
After months of public feedback, the 5 law enforcement agencies of Chemung County have a plan to reform local police. The plan consists of 4 parts. First, collaborating with local school districts to get students interested in policing.
We already have school resource officers in each of our schools, but we'd like to have additional presence and try to encourage individuals that this is a great career field to pursue.
Second, develop a crisis response team to assist officers with mental health related calls.
So if there's a serious mental health issue, they can respond with our officers. If there's time to do that, to try to resolve the problem the best way we can.
The third part will have officers assigned to houses of worship to help gain the trust of congregants and faith leaders. Mayor Mendel says this will hopefully encourage residents to help police during investigations. Finally, law enforcement will develop a plan for officers to consult local businesses to discuss policing issues.
Find out what their concerns are. Where do we have more patrols? What can we do better?
Mendel says the measures will hopefully help foster a good relationship between Elmira residents and city police.
We want to help the community, and we want the community to feel confident in our policing and work together to reduce crime and keep everyone safe.
The plan will be filed to the New York State Assembly for approval. Matt Kleindin's Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
A man was arrested in Elmira last night, accused of stabbing another man with a sword. Elmira police responded to the 700 block of South Main a little before midnight. Officers say they found a man with a stab wound to his abdominal area. Emergency workers rushed him to a hospital. Officers then located a man matching a description of the suspect nearby. He's been ID'd as 33-year-old Brandon McElwain of Elmira. He's charged with assault in the first degree. An Asian woman in New York is in the hospital with serious injuries after being attacked on her way to church. A surveillance camera captured the entire attack, along with a security guard who watched the entire thing happen without intervening. Allie Bauman has that video.
Surveillance video shows a man kick a 65-year-old woman to the ground, stomping on her several times before police say he made anti-Asian statements. Sources tell CBS 2 he also said, "You don't belong here," and then ran off. This happened just before noon Monday on West 43rd Street. This is the suspect investigators are looking for. The Asian Hate Crimes Task Force tweeted the video saying in part, "The cold-hearted building security guard not only failed to render aid, he closed the door on the victim."
It's really terrible how every single day there seems to be another incident.
The Hate Crimes Task Force is investigating this attack on the J train. One man beats and chokes a man police believe is Asian until he goes unconscious. Fellow riders watch without intervening. The video has been viewed over 1 million times on social media. Police are trying to track down its origin and identify both the victim and suspect.
What kind of hate is displayed in this kind of attack?
Dozens gathered in Queens Monday night for a candlelight vigil remembering the lives lost in the Atlanta shooting and standing with all victims of hate.
Asian Americans for too long in this country have been shamefully scapegoated because of ignorant fear.
NYPD numbers show at least 31 anti-Asian hate crimes citywide so far this year, but the department admits crimes against Asian Americans have long gone underreported.
We're just starting to learn how to speak out about something that has been happening for as long as we can remember.
The Asian Hate Crimes Task Force told us bystanders too often do not intervene when witnessing an attack.
Being silent is being complicit when we see our brothers and sisters being attacked.
New York is rapidly expanding its vaccine eligibility over the next 2 weeks. As of today, any New Yorker over the age of 30 can begin scheduling their vaccine appointments. By April 6th, any resident in the state over the age of 16 will qualify for a COVID vaccine. That puts New York a month ahead of President Biden's deadline to have universal vaccine eligibility. To date, at least 30% of all New Yorkers have received at least one dose of the vaccine. A major step in New York City's push to recover from the COVID-19 lockdowns. For the first time in more than a year, the Yankees will be playing at Yankee Stadium. Opening day is Thursday, April 1st, and fans will be allowed in the stands, but there will be plenty of restrictions. Jennifer Williams has more.
As the Yankees host the Blue Jays for opening day, attendance will be capped at 20%, so roughly 10,000 fans can be back in the stands, but don't expect to be able to just walk through the gates.
If you are vaccinated or you must have a negative COVID test, on our website it'll explain all the rules. They're the state rules in order to go forward. And there are many, many testing sites. There are many ways you can do it. It's very easy.
Yankees president Randy Levine added those will be the requirements for at least the month of April.
Yankee Stadium has been said by many, many independent organizations as the healthiest stadium in the world. We've consulted with literally thousands of medical people. I really want to assure people that when they come to Yankee Stadium, it's going to be an incredibly, incredibly safe environment.
Everything will also be touchless as possible, including ticketless entry. Speaking of, that experience is going to cost both Yankees and Mets fans at first.
Opening day always is expensive. And the dynamics of the market in New York right now, where the governor has limited the amount of tickets that are available on the primary or secondary market, is going to artificially inflate the ticket prices in some instances. Over the next few weeks, though, I would imagine that we are going to see a flattening out of demand and a bit of the prices come down significantly.
According to Ticket IQ, entrance to Thursday's home opener start at a roughly $80 and average about $400 a pop. As for the Mets' 2021 home debut, which is on April 8th, tickets start at over $200.
The World Health Organization believes the novel coronavirus, which causes COVID-19, probably spread to people through an animal. The WHO released a new 120-page report on the virus as they continue to search for its origin. It outlines several scenarios on how the virus might have been transmitted to humans. One possibility is through an intermediate animal host, like a wild animal that was captured and raised on a farm. Another possibility is that it was transmitted directly from an animal known to carry a similar coronavirus, like a bat or a pangolin. The report found it is extremely unlikely that it was introduced into people through a laboratory incident. It's still not clear what part vaccinated people may play in spreading COVID. Researchers are hoping that students at 20 colleges can help answer that question. Keely Arthur is at the University of North Carolina, which is taking part in the study.
It is sad. It's very isolating.
Ask any college student what they want most, and getting back to a more normal college experience is often at the top of their list.
All in all, as quickly as possible, I want to go back to how it was last year.
During the pandemic, universities and students have tried to balance what it means to be social with what it means to be safe, and sometimes they've missed the mark. Now, though, this very setting could play a major part in how we figure out to get back to normal.
They live in close quarters, they socialize, so all of those things are really good for studying this question.
Dr. Audrey Pettifor is a professor of epidemiology at UNC Chapel Hill. She and other researchers are looking to enroll 600 Chapel Hill students in a study to see how COVID is spread by people who are vaccinated.
And so basically what happens if the individual in the trial tests positive for COVID, we then ask their close contact to swab their nose every day for 14 days and to do a serology test to look at if the individual has antibodies. And we'll also ask questions like, is this person vaccinated? We'll see if they've already had COVID.
The study, which is backed by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, will then help determine policy on things like mask wearing and traveling as more and more people become vaccinated.
And I think that it's exciting because once people do get vaccinated, there could be more of a student life potentially.
9 minutes and 29 seconds. That's how long prosecutors say former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on the neck of George Floyd last May. During the first full day of trial proceedings, the defense didn't argue over the prosecution's timeline, but instead argued Chauvin's actions did not cause the death of the 46-year-old black man. Daryl Forges reports.
In the second day of testimony in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin, witness Donald Williams again taking the stand.
I believe I witnessed a murder.
The mixed martial artist describing the moments leading to George Floyd's killing.
You could see that he was going through tremendous pain.
In arguments laid out Monday, prosecutors say the 9-minute and 29-second video played before the court proves the former Minneapolis police officer's conduct is to blame.
You can believe your eyes that it's a homicide, it's murder. You can believe your eyes.
The defense contends Chauvin was following his training.
The use of force is not attractive, but it is a necessary component of policing.
And argue Floyd's pre-existing health conditions as well as drug use contributed to his death. The official autopsy says Floyd died of heart failure during restraint. In the coming days, both sides plan to call expert medical witnesses to testify. But civil rights attorney Ben Crump says the evidence is clear.
We rebuke when they come and say that this is a hard case. This murder case is not hard when you watch this torture video of George Floyd.
Floyd's family hoping the jury agrees.
If you can't get justice in America for this, what can you get justice for then?
In Minneapolis, I'm Daryl Forges.
Still ahead tonight, a 12-year-old in Colorado is in critical condition, reportedly after trying something he saw on TikTok.
He's a fighter. I can see him fighting. I'm praying for him every day.
Hear from the boy's father, who is desperately warning parents about a new trend called the Blackout Challenge.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. A much warmer day today. It felt more like May than late March. So temperatures today about 20 degrees warmer this afternoon in Elmira than yesterday. 19 degrees warmer in Corning as well as in Bath and also in Watkins Glen. But it looks like we're going to have to say goodbye to this nice weather as another cold front will be marching through our area. There will be occasional showers as we head into your Wednesday. Temperatures around 52 degrees at 8 o'clock. We're going to bump it up to around 58 by noon, and then those temperatures will be dropping down into the low 50s by the end of the day with occasional showers throughout the day as well. As we head into your Wednesday, there's going to be a low pressure system that will move through out ahead of it. We're going to stay warm. As you can see, those temperatures will be in the 50s. So all that precipitation will be in the form of rain. But then as that low shifts to the east and we're going to be on the west side of it, colder air will start to ride in and moisture will ride around that area of low pressure. And so that's going to result in snow as we head into Wednesday night and also into your Thursday. So it looks like winter weather is returning. Our future radar is showing clouds will start to thicken up tonight. By 7 o'clock in the morning, Hornell, Bath, we could see some moderate rain moving into your area, heading into Corning as well as in Elmira. Early tomorrow morning, this will start to shift to the east a little bit, and then we're going to see occasional rain off and on during the day. By 10 o'clock, colder air will start to make a move on the Twin Tiers, and as a result, that will bring us that snow chance. So we are expecting the snow to really take over by midnight for all of our hometowns, Hornell, Bath, Corning, Elmira. We're going to see some snow showers, and then it's going to stay this way through the day on Thursday. So it's going to be occasional snow showers off and on during the day on Thursday, and all that could add up to about 2 to 3 inches in some areas. So let's take a look at the timing of it. On Wednesday, again, we're going to see all the precipitation fall as rain. And then by Wednesday evening, there will be a rain-snow mix and then switching over to all snow. It will become pretty gusty as that low pressure system crosses through the state. And then by Thursday, we're going to be on the colder side of the system. And so all that precipitation will fall as snow. Again, accumulation between 2 to 3 inches in many of our hometowns. Tonight, we are expecting clouds to really thicken up. Temperatures dropping down to around 48 degrees in Elmira, around 50 degrees in Corning. Highs tomorrow, upper 50s and lower 60s. And our 7-day forecast calls for that snow chance on Thursday. Cold air for the end of the week, but we are going to recover by the weekend with highs in the 60s by Sunday.
The war against COVID-19 is far from over. That's the message from the White House following a rise again in COVID cases. And these latest numbers have a top U.S. health official sending out a warning. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
And I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom.
An emotional warning from the director of the CDC after the latest numbers show a steady rise in COVID-19 cases across the country.
So much promise and potential of where we are, and so much reason for hope. But right now, I'm scared.
Airline travel hit the highest point of the pandemic on Sunday. TSA says it screened more than 1.5 million people at airports. Air travel figures continue to ride high during this spring break period, even as health experts fret over rising coronavirus infection rates in some states. More than 9.5 million people have flown in the last week. American Airlines says ticket sales are currently at about 90% of pre-pandemic levels, and it will soon pull most of its idle aircraft out of storage. With more travel, Dr. Rochelle Walensky says she's worried about a fourth surge in cases and vowed to encourage governors directly to buckle down on reopening their states too quickly. With vaccinations, she says we have the power to end the pandemic.
I'm asking you to just hold on a little longer, to get vaccinated when you can, so that all of those people that we all love will still be here when this pandemic ends.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A 12-year-old Colorado boy is in critical condition, reportedly after playing a game seen on TikTok. It's called the Blackout Challenge, and it dares people to choke themselves until they lose consciousness. Now the boy's father desperately wants to warn parents about this stunt. Sean Chitness reports.
Joshua Haliosis is like many 12-year-old boys. He loves soccer and video games, but he stood out even with a twin brother thanks to his passion for the Army.
He's a fighter. I can see him fighting. I'm praying for him every day.
He also was showing signs early on he might make a great church pastor.
It's just heartbreaking to see him laying on the bed.
But last week, his brother found him unconscious in the bathroom. The family thinks he was trying to choke himself with a shoelace, possibly a challenge to see how long he could hold his breath.
He told me the bad news that he's not going to survive, he's not going to make it. And I just couldn't think of it, I couldn't imagine.
Doctors have told the family Joshua is brain dead and that they need to prepare to say goodbye.
I was begging them on the floor, pleading to see if they can give me some time. Just don't give up on him. Don't give up on him.
His dad says that a few days before, Joshua bragged to his brother he was able to hold his breath for a minute.
I'm paying the price right now. I'm living the life, and I hate other parents to go through this.
So the family hopes their story will inspire others to talk about any potential games out there that could seriously hurt another child.
If I just give up on him, I feel like I'm just walking away from my son.
A pair of newborn twins in Minnesota will be celebrating their birthdays not just on different days, but in different months. Kevin Wallivand has that story.
Chris Perry never dreamed he would be celebrating his 40th birthday today alongside his new baby girl and boy. And his wife Heather never thought the babies she was carrying and scheduled to be born in May would enter the world in this crazy, unpredictable way, days apart.
A whirlwind.
Heather was working in Detroit Lakes in February when
my water broke at 25 weeks.
Heather was hospitalized. And days later, out of the blue,
that evening I woke up feeling a lot of pressure and I knew she was coming.
Olive, the baby girl, at 28 weeks, was ready to arrive.
We know when they say, get in here, we need to move fairly quickly.
Labor delivery nurses called Sanford's Dr. John Dangerfield, who delivered Olive.
Very quickly, yeah.
That was February 24th, 9 weeks early.
It was scary for sure because she came very quickly.
Just how quickly?
You can push, and I said, okay, you ready? So 3 pushes and she was out.
Baby Olive, 2 pounds, 4 ounces. She came so quickly that Dad missed the birth.
The nurse called me back and she's like, is this Chris? I'm like, yeah. Well, is everything okay? Yeah, yep, congratulations. Your wife just had Olive. I'm like, whoa, okay.
And with baby Olive now out, doctors, nurses, and mom waited for baby Ashton. But there's a problem. He didn't want to come out.
Dr. Dangerfield said, well, he's not coming. I said, okay. He said, so we're just going to wait. And he had his arms crossed. I was like, okay, so we're going to wait.
And wait.
And wait. And wait.
The doctors and nurses waited too for baby Ashton, baby number 2, waiting not for hours, but for days, 5 days. Born March 1st, meaning the twins will celebrate their birthdays in different months.
I went to Google and found out what the world record time was for longest split twin birth, which was 87 days. So I'm like, let's go for the record.
At one point, Heather went into the NICU to hold Olive while still carrying the other twin, Ashton.
I held her every time I would hold her, and he would kick around in my stomach. Like, he just knew that she was up there, but he was enjoying his extra space to sprawl out. And
waiting to welcome the two home, big sister Fiona. She's already told the UPS man.
Yeah, it just adds to the story.
Soon, Olive and Ashton will leave the NICU after a dramatic entry into the world.
Yeah, that's going to be a good story to tell at school, and everyone they meet, they can tell that story too, pretty much.
The fiasco in the Suez Canal involving the massive container ship that got stuck could disrupt supplies for weeks. Although the ship is now free, there's continuing concern about the impact on supply chains. That's because hundreds of ships from all around the world carrying vital fuel and cargo have been blocked from entering the canal for days. Mandy Gaither has a closer look at the impact this could have on goods around the world.
The giant container ship that's been blocking the Suez Canal for nearly a week is finally free, but the economic fallout is far from over.
There's going to be a global disruption in the supply of goods, not immediately, but a few weeks from now.
Data from shipping expert Lloyd's List suggests nearly $10 billion worth of goods was disrupted each day. Experts say even before the Ever Given got stuck during a sandstorm and powerful winds last Tuesday, supply chains were stretched to the limits. Now experts say this fiasco is making it much more expensive to move goods around the world and causing shortages of everything from exercise bikes to cheese.
It may almost be invisible in certain areas to most people, but what they will see is an increased cost. It's going to be more expensive to haul goods. Vessels that are going around the Suez Canal have to use more fuel.
And the ripple effect of this incident will take a while to unravel. There were hundreds of vessels backed up in both directions. When traffic returns to normal, it may take days to clear the backlog, further delaying goods on their way to customers.
That cargo is not being offloaded. It's not being put on trucks and rail for distribution throughout Europe and England, and it's not being cross-loaded onto vessels sailing to other ports, for example, the United States or Canada.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. This video shows a police officer using a tricked-out go-kart, made to look like something right out of Mario Kart. It's one of many videos taken by Mario Kart fan Joshua Schaefer. He's from Chicago, but has taken his go-kart to more than 10 states, inviting people to go for a ride. Schaefer says he loves making people smile, and folks who've tried it out say they wouldn't want any other way of getting around.
People just need to just have more happiness in their life and smile more. So I just do this to just make people smile and just spread joy.
That does look like fun. This weekend he rolled into Arizona and plans on staying there for the next few weeks. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.